Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see from the title and obviously from the makeup look that I have on my eyes right now, today I really wanted to do a makeup look that matches my hair. I mean, I feel like that is just kind of an excuse because I love having these colours on my eyes anyway, but I couldn't resist. I felt like I had to at least once do something that matched, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job at getting pretty close to the colour of my hair. Just before we jump in, I do want to let you guys know that I am going to be using a couple of discontinued eyeshadow palettes, and I know that it can be a little bit frustrating when people do that on YouTube. I know, I've been there, like you hear someone talking about this product that they love and you go and try to find it and it doesn't exist anymore. Thank you brands for releasing so much products that you just discontinue everything before we've really had the time to try it. So yeah, I'm sorry that I am going to be using some items that can't be found anymore, but they are some of my favourite products and they kind of had the perfect colours for this look, so I kind of had to use them. So if you guys would like to see how I got this look, then just keep watching. Alright guys, so as always, I have primed my eyes with my PW's base and popped on my Pink Honey Original Super Hold so that we can just jump straight into the eyeshadows. And the first palette that I'm going to jump into is the Book of Magic. And I have to say, I think this is currently my favourite palette, possibly. I know I've said this before, but it is just me in a palette. It is just my perfect colour scheme. So because we don't have a darker turquoise in here, I am going to start off with the shade Cursed just down here, and I'm using a Morphe M124. I'm going to make sure there are no creases in my base, and then with my eye open, I'm going to start drawing out my shape. So I'm working in my crease kind of just above it and placing my colour. I'm going to go for a more rounded shape to start us off with. So I'm also going to come in just into the outer corner, and I'm not going like a circle. I am going to be going for a bit more oval and stretching it out, and then I'm just going to make sure that my colour is even everywhere. And then I'm just going to take a clean Zoeva 231, again, just to make sure that everything is nice and even. Okay, so for my next shade, we're now going to go into the Beauty Bay and Mmmmitchell palette. We haven't seen her on my channel in a while because she is discontinued, unfortunately. But what I think is really nice is that even though I haven't actually used these two palettes together yet, they don't have any overlap in the shades, really. I mean, like, this obviously has greens and blues and purples like the Book of Magic have, but they're not identical and they complete each other. So I'm going to be taking the shade Miracle because, again, we don't have that darker turquoise in the Book of Magic. So having this in here is absolutely perfect. And I'm going to be taking this shade on a Sigma E36. And when it comes to my blending brushes, I like to start with smaller ones closer to the crease. And the further out we get and the more we blow up the look, we go for bigger brushes. So I'm just using it to blend out the first shade. Believe it or not, I actually tried to film this look yesterday and it didn't turn out bad or anything. In fact, I had a great response to the picture I posted on Instagram. But if you guys use a Canon camera to film, then you will know that after 30 minutes it just stops filming. That's just the way they work. And I didn't pay attention, I didn't realise it turned off, and I probably carried on doing makeup for like 15 minutes afterwards without realising. So I was like, okay, well, never mind. I'll still post it to Instagram. I'll just not have a tutorial for this one. And I went to wet my beauty sponge and I found Milton sat on the landing and he was literally meowing at me and begging me to come downstairs just so I could sit on the sofa so he could sit on my lap. And that's the story of why I couldn't carry on doing my makeup look. So here we are today doing it again. So next we're going to jump back into the Book of Magic palette, and this time I'm going to take a Morphe M514. So again, going for bigger brushes every time. And this time I'm going to go into Bewitched. And exactly the same here. I'm just going to keep blending out. And when I get to that outer portion, I want to start dragging it further and further out. So if that makes sense, my blend is quite narrow at the front and it kind of gets wider at the back. I don't know if that's a good way of describing it, but I feel like it makes sense in my head. And always just curving back into that outer corner. My next brush is going to be a Morphe M433, and now we're going to go into Wish. And at this point the instructions don't really change very much at all. I'm still doing the same thing, blending upwards, and again really pulling it out when we get to the outer portion. And again, that blend is just getting wider as I get closer and closer to my temple. And then lastly, we're going to jump into a third palette, which is going to be the Pastels palette. Obviously, I use this one all the time when I'm using my other Beauty Bay palettes. I'm going to take a Morphe M441, which is a nice big fluffy brush, so our biggest brush yet. And I'm just going to go into Cloud Free and just finish blending out and pulling that towards the temple. And then again, just at the front as well. Just making sure everything is nicely blended out everywhere. Okay, so I'm really happy with how my blend is looking so far, but it does need some deepening up. And the first thing that I'm going to do is go in with a black eyeshadow. Now, both of these palettes have a black and both of them are really good, but I am going to go with the one from the Book of Magic palette, which is called Hex. The quality of this one, there's something about the formula that's just like a little bit higher. So I'm just taking that on a Sigma E36 and tapping off that excess because it is powdery, and I'm going to blend that into the crease, following that original shape that I did with the dark blue. And you can see it's just super pigmented. A little bit of this one will go a long way. I'm going to take a touch more and just come into that outer corner as well, just deepen it up. And I'm pretty happy that that looks pretty even. It's basically covered up my darker colours, but as I said, I'm going to deepen those up anyway. I literally just almost spilt my water in the direction of all my electric cables. That would have been fun. So now I'm just going to go in with all of my shades from darkest to lightest and just blend out that black and deepen everything up. Anyone else just have makeup go missing when it was there like a second ago and you don't know what you've done with it? Just me? No? For the lid, I want a black base, so I'm just going to use the Bada Black base from P. Louise. Not because I particularly like it or anything like that, but it is the only black base that I have other than using black gel liner, and that can be really sticky and I can't be bothered with that. So I'm going to take it on this Blank Canvas Cosmetics F17 and just cover my whole lid, and I'm just patting it in so that I don't have excess product. And as you can see, it's just not black, is it? It's just not opaque, it's grey, it's not black, and I don't feel like it has the same texture as the normal base. It's just not as creamy, but some people really like it. Some people recommend using it as liner and I'm like, what? Anyway, so I'm covering the whole lid. And then for the lid shade, I'm going to stay in the Book of Magic. I'm going to go with the shade Spell, just on a flat brush. And that's just going to go all over the lid. And then once I've covered the whole lid, I'm just going to go in with my Morphe M433, just the one I was using earlier, just to blend that in, make sure I haven't got any harsh edges. Okay, so that shade is super pretty by itself, but I do want to knock it up a notch with the glitter, make it extra sparkly. And originally I was going to use my Pixie Glittery Eye Quad in the shade Blue Pearl. I was going to use this shade in particular. This is the Collection Glam Crystals in shade number 5, Le Freak. This has been around for years and years and years, and they are the exact same shade. Look at that. Now when you're doing like a whole eyelid or something like that, the easiest thing to do is just take the stopper off of the tube, dip your brush in, and so much more product comes out and it's just a lot easier. And then I'm just going to take any old flat eyeshadow brush and literally just pack it on. Look at how well that matches. It's just going to give the whole thing a lot more dimension. And the glitter reflex in this are exactly the same as the glitter reflex in the Pixie one. This liner does have a nice opacity to it, so it does cover the surface really well, and I don't tend to find that I have any issues with it removing product underneath, which can sometimes be the case. So if you haven't got these already, I think they used to have more colours and they've discontinued some. I don't know why. I hope they bring some back. I mean, it's a really good liner. Really cheap. So I've just gone ahead and quickly primed my lower lash line, and I really want to go for purple, have something with a bit of contrast. I do find that the purples in the Book of Magic palette are a little bit pinkier. And obviously I've got all this blue going on the eyes. I want to stay a bit more blue toned. This is really hard with this palette at this zoom. Morgan in the Beauty by Mmmmitchell palette is absolutely perfect for this. It's just a tone of purple that I prefer. So I've just taken some on a flat brush and I'm gonna pack it on. And then next to that, I'm going to take a Morphe M456 and go into Miles High, which is the lighter purple. And I'm just going to blend out. I'm going to connect it up to the outer corner as well. And then I'm just going to take my Morphe M514 again as well, just to help blend those in. I'm just going to add some liner to finish the look off. So I'm just going to take my Inglot gel liner, this is just black, and I'm just going to pop that along the lash line. And then I'm just going to take a clean Sigma E36 just to blend out the outer portion of that liner into the crease shades. I do want this to be even more glittery, so I'm going to go in with the W7 Galaxy Glam Flash. This is the shade Nebula, and that's going to go on the lower lash line, just over the purple. Now with these ones, I do find that you can remove the product underneath, so I'm going to let that dry down before doing my second layer. And what I do find on the lower lash line is I sometimes end up getting some in my lashes, so I just take a clean spoolie and remove any excess. I'm going to use my Inglot gel liner again, this time on a small flat liner brush, and pop that in the waterline. And then all that's remaining, aside from mascara and lashes, is highlighting my inner corner of my brow bone. And recently what I've been loving is my Pixi Liquid Fairy Lights in the shade Crystalline. I feel like the Collection Glam Crystals in Cosmic Stars are going to be pretty good for duping that. And I just like to take this on a Cleanse Over 231 and I'm going to tap that on the brow bone. I'm just going to do the brow bone for now, not the inner corner, just because I find it easier to do my concealer afterwards. But I do like a sparkly brow bone at the moment. Completely over the top, but we're not going anywhere, so who cares? Alright, so that is it for the eyes for now. So I'm just going to move on to my face, and I'm going to start off with my e.l.f. Mint Melt Cooling Primer. Why not? It's so gloopy. It does just make me think of toothpaste. I mean, I guess I can see what they mean by cooling, but it feels cooling in the way that, like, it smells cooling. I don't know, it's weird. I don't know that a mint smelling primer was such a good idea. In theory, I can see where they were coming from. In real life, I don't know. And then just on my T-zone, I'm going to use my W7 Miracle Matte Elixir, just because that e.l.f. primer does nothing to stop me from getting oily. I do feel like it gives a glow, even though it's not sold as a glowy primer. I don't mind too much. This makeup doesn't have to last long or anything. So just in the spots where I get oily. For my foundation, I'm going to go in with the W7 Very Vegan in the shade Buff. The shade isn't quite right for me, but I need the coverage. You guys can see, like, my skin is giving me grief at the moment. Plus, with the blue hair, I can't really actually wear a foundation that really matches me, because otherwise I will look way too washed out. So slightly darker foundation will do just fine. Basically, I am using it until I can justify getting the NARS Natural Radiant Foundation. I'm just waiting until the shops are open again to go and buy it from a counter. Even though I could just buy it online and get it now. The beauty girls are going to need your support when they go back to work, because they've been furloughed, people have been made redundant. Be nice to retail staff when shops open. And this does just go so dark on me. I probably shouldn't wear this until I start fake tanning, really. Okay, so even though the coverage is really good, and I feel like on camera we're pretty much almost there, there's still some things popping through. So I'm just going to take my e.l.f. Camo Concealer in the shade Medium Sand. I don't think I've ever been in the medium category for shades. I am just as surprised by that as you are. My skin was doing so well in the run up to Christmas, and now it's not like we're not even friends anymore. She hates me and I hate her. And then again, I am just going to blend. Okay. Okay, there we go, that feels a lot better. Don't know why I'm getting spots on my ear as well, honestly. I do want to do some cream blush, and I have picked up 2 more shades of the Fresh Face Cheek and Lip Tint. You guys know I absolutely love these. If you haven't seen me talk about these already, I don't know how you've missed it, because I basically talk about them in every video. But the first 2 shades that I had were sent to me because I was in their ad campaign, and I have literally just purchased 2 more because I really enjoy the formula, and they were on sale on Superdrug. Oh, I can't decide. There's another one as well, but I didn't get it because I think it would be too deep for me. Should I go more pink? Should I? I don't know. Or should I go peachy? Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with the shade Caramel Kisses, which is more nude. I feel like it's just gonna work quite well. I just don't wanna go for pink. So I'm just gonna pop some on the back of my hand, and that is absolutely plenty. I can already tell that I'm gonna go through these so quickly because I use so much, but I love these. I really love this formula. I really feel like Barry M has knocked it out of the park with this formula. I've just realised I haven't done my under eye concealing. Oh dear. I feel like this one maybe is a bit close to the foundation shade, possibly. So maybe this isn't one that's going to suit you if you're a little bit darker than me. I've just taken some more. I feel like this is probably just a bit too close to the shade of foundation that I'm wearing, which is a little bit annoying, but we can get it to work, it's fine. This is the kind of shade that I really like in summer. Go on the end of my nose a bit as well. Just pretending that I'm seeing the sun, which actually there is sunshine at the moment. Let me go back and do my under eye concealer though, because apparently I've just forgotten to do that. I'm gonna take my I Heart Revolution Heartbreakers concealer in Oat and do the center of my face. I don't know why I put blush on my nose because I'm about to cover it up. I just have to take a bit more blush, it's fine. I just can't believe I literally forgot to do part of my concealer. So I'm just gonna blend it out with my sponge. And then I'm just gonna pop some on the under eye and over here. And I'm gonna blend out with my PC13. Oh, I like the way it looks with this foundation. I'm gonna add a bit more, and I'm just gonna clean up just that underside of the eyeshadow. Just gonna go in with my sponge just to finish blending. I feel like that's blended in really nicely into that foundation. It is a real shame about the shade range for that foundation. I do have a whole review. If you guys want to see it, I will link it. But it is super, super beautiful on the skin. Really pretty. I'm just gonna take a little bit more of the blush just because I had to go back over it with the concealer. Honestly, I don't think that's ever happened to me really. There we go. This would be my perfect holiday blush. Like just wearing this over bare skin that would hopefully look a bit nice. I don't think that's too much to ask for. There we go, I'll go over the nose again. Do the temples, but just look at how pretty that is and how natural that colour is. I really, really like it. I cannot recommend these blushes enough, especially if they're on sale and you can just like grab multiple at a discount. Go for it. Okay, so after that brief little chaotic interlude, it wouldn't be one of my videos if it wasn't somehow a little bit chaotic, would it, at this point? I'm just gonna powder down, as always, using my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. I'm using the shade Light. I could probably use Light Plus with this foundation, which I do also have, but Light should hopefully kind of bring it back a bit, lighten it up slightly, hopefully. For my bronzer, I'm going to use the Revolution Pro bronzer in Bahia just because it's a little bit darker than some of my other ones and I feel like that's kind of needed with this foundation. My other bronzers might end up too light. I have put way too much on. I've blended my foundation really badly in my neck. But you know what, that's fine. It's locked down for what, at least another couple of months. Shops and everything open April. So you know, for the next 2 months, if my makeup sucks a little bit, who cares? Just gonna do my lips as always and the nose. I might just skip contour today. I feel a bit lazy. And then I do want to deepen up the blush a little bit, so I'm going to go in with my Wet n Wild in Nudist Society, which is just like a favourite. Just sweep it on back here. Look at that, pretending I've been on a holiday. And then for highlighter, I think I'm going to take my Soph and Revolution palette, which is just in such a state. But I feel like all of my single highlighters are maybe a bit too light. I'm going to take this one over here, maybe mix in with a little bit of this. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. I think the nice thing about a highlighter palette is the customization. It's nice to just have one product and just switch up the shades, but no one is gonna need all of these shades. Like a 4 highlighter palette is probably plenty. Alright, so I just need to finish up with the glitter now, so I'm going to go back into the Collection Glam Crystals in Cosmic Stars, just on the same Over 231 as earlier, and pop that in the inner corner. This does look really similar to the Pixie one. Pixie one is maybe just like a little bit prettier. Okay, it looks more like flakes, and this looks more like glitter, if that makes sense. And then, you know what, we could do with some extra glitter. And oh my god, why is this so dirty? Have I gotten stuff all over my top? I hope not. I've just realised my hands are covered in eyeliner and I don't know when that happened. I really hope it's not all over my cream top. I can't see that it is, but if it is, that'll just be really annoying. All right, let's try that again. I'm gonna take the Glitterally Obsessed in Moon Prism Power from the Colourpop and Sailor Moon collection. Look how pretty. And I'm just gonna take that on my fingers. And why don't we pop that over the highlighter? Okay, maybe it doesn't quite match having the golden highlighter underneath. I think what I might do is just bring it into the eyeshadow a little bit more. There we go. Oh, and these smell of watermelon. They smell so good. I love it. All right, so I'm just going to quickly go and finish my lashes and my brows off camera, and then I'll come back so that we can finish the look off. All right, so my eyes are done, and that just leaves us with lips. And I think I want to go quite understated with the lips. I've just realised I probably should have started by taking the foundation off, because I just want to de-gloss. Can you tell how organised I am? So I'm just going to start off with my Praline lip liner from Peaches and Cream and just line my lips. And then over the top of that, I'm just going to take my Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in the shade Fussy. And then just to finish that off, I'm going to take my Iconic London Prep Set and Glow. Alright guys, here is the finished look. I hope as always that you like it. I am a little bit obsessed with it. I feel like I've done pretty well at matching it to my hair. Not that I needed the hair as an excuse to use these palettes and wear these colours, because as I've said to you guys many times, this is probably my favourite colour scheme. It is me in a palette. Love it, but with the hair, I do kind of like it even more. So if you guys enjoyed this video, then do as always, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, leave me a comment and letting me know what you thought of it. And if you haven't already, then do make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And I'll be seeing you all on the next one. Bye guys.